Now, it's not only dogs that can contract rabies. We as humans can also contract the virus through animal bites. Dr. Matt's a technical specialist from MSD Animal Health. The makers of Bravecto is here to shed some light on this virus and how we can avoid contracting it. Good morning, Dr. Matt. Lovely to have you. Rabies, serious stuff, man. This is quite a serious thing. The last thing you want anyone to get into contact with is rabies. But first of all, what does a dog with rabies look like? How would you identify it?
All the different animals that contract rabies can actually present as absolutely anything. And the only commonality between all the different species is that their natural behavior changes. So quite a few months ago, we had some rabid jackal up in Gauteng. And these animals would walk up to a car and you could actually pat them on the head.
No.
That is completely abnormal behavior. Stay away from that animal.
Really?
Yeah.
My word. And I mean, you see something, you know, if you, especially if you watch films, there's foaming at the mouth, this kind of stuff. Does that sort of things
It's not always bites, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's that you can have an animal that has rabies and just licks an open wound or licks your eyes or your lips. You can actually contract rabies like that. You don't have to get bitten.
Wow. So prevention, once again, in this case, definitely better than cure.
Yeah.
How can you prevent rabies on that note?
It's definitely a preventable disease, and the most common route of prevention is vaccination. Yeah. So going to your vet, getting Novivac rabies for your animal is usually the way you would go. But you also need to understand that you need to follow that up. So you need to have booster vaccines. We start vaccinating at 12 weeks of age with both dogs and cats, and then we follow that up every 1 to 3 years after that.
Okay. And in terms of MSD Animal Health side, what are they doing in terms of, you know, just to help prevent this disease, rabies?
We've got numerous projects throughout the world. The two most common here in Africa are the Afia Serengeti project and the Mission Rabies project. Both of those look at high-risk areas in Africa, like Kenya, for example, where rabid animals come into contact with human populations, and that causes people to get infected and therefore lose their lives.
Yeah. And I mean, it definitely does sound serious and something that you do want to prevent, but is there a cure for rabies?
If you're not vaccinated, there's no cure. So if in any unvaccinated person or animal, if you contract rabies, your chances of survival are 0. The animals that are vaccinated with the booster vaccine are often recovering and they go back to normal again. And the problem also is that from a diagnostic standpoint, the only way you can make a diagnosis of rabies is by taking a brain sample at a post-mortem, at a necropsy. So that means pretty much, even though you have the diagnosis, you do not have survival.
So I think the one thing that we can take away from this morning is the fact that, you know, if your dog or if you see an animal that is acting abnormally to what it would normally, you know, be cautious.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much. So help prevent rabies by vaccinating your dogs against the virus. And then also don't forget to watch our next Bravecto segment. We'll be talking about socializing your pups.